Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're gonna dive deep into a WPL match that had everyone on the edge of their seats.
Ooh, exciting.
It was Mumbai Indians women versus UP Warriors
Okay.
in 2025.
Mm.
Both these teams, they were neck and neck in the standing,
Oh, wow.
battling it out at the Chinnaswamy Stadium, a venue, you know, known for dramatic finishes and high-scoring encounters.
Yeah, I mean, I love watching matches there. The energy's always so high. What was the pregame buzz like for this one?
Oh, pregame buzz was all about the pitch.
Okay.
It was a green-tinged deck. And everyone was kind of like,
Oh, so unusual for Chinnaswamy.
everyone was expecting the Seamers to just
Does nominate, yeah.
have a field day,
Yeah,
which is probably why Mumbai Indians opted to field first
makes sense.
after winning the toss.
Mm-hmm.
Harmanpreet Kaur, she's leading the Mumbai Indians, and she was probably hoping to exploit those conditions early on.
Yeah, put the pressure on Deepti Sharma's UP Warriors, right?
Yeah. Smart move,
Mm.
especially considering they had Nat Cyberbrand on their side. She was in phenomenal form throughout the tournament.
And she did not disappoint.
I bet not.
First over, boom, Kiranov Gear back in the pavilion. Nat Cyberbrunt on fire.
Relentless.
Yeah.
But here's the thing.
Yeah.
Despite that early wicket, UPW had like a phenomenal power play.
Okay, I have a feeling I know who's responsible for that.
You guessed it.
Grace Harris.
Grace Harris.
Oh.
Now, she has this incredible knack for taking on leg spin.
Really?
Yeah. And Mumbai, they opted to bowl spin early, so UPW sending her in at the top, pure genius.
Oh, wow.
62 runs on the board after the power play was a statement.
So they weathered that early storm and came out swinging. Did they keep up that momentum?
They did. For a while, Brenda Dinesh joined Harris,
Okay.
and they built this like solid 79-run partnership. Mumbai's bowlers were scrambling, like trying everything to break through.
79 runs.
Yeah.
So how did Mumbai pull things back? There had to be a turning point somewhere.
There was Grace Harris. After this blistering knock of 45, she finally fell to Mumbai's bowling attack. And, oh, you could feel the momentum shift. It was palpable.
Okay, so Harris departs. Suddenly the pressure's back on UPW. What happens to their middle order?
It crumbled. Went from a commanding 81 for 1 to a shaky 93 for 5. Middle order meltdown.
Ouch.
Yeah,
So Mumbai's bowlers finally found their rhythm.
absolutely. Cyberbrunt.
Oh, yeah.
Remember her from the first over?
Oh, yeah, of course.
She came back with a vengeance, used those slower balls to just outfox the batters, claimed 3 crucial wickets.
What about Shabnam Ismail?
Oh, she came in to clean up the tail.
Yeah.
Restricted UPW to a final total of 142.
No, 142 on a ground like Chinnaswamy. Bit of a tricky target, isn't it?
It is. Could be seen as like too much and not enough all at the same time.
Mhm.
It all depended on how Mumbai's batters approached the chase.
Right. 142, a total that could make or break you at Chinnaswamy. All eyes were on Mumbai's batters. Would they crumble under pressure, or would they take control?
Well, they started cautiously, which wasn't surprising. Every run counted.
Right.
They couldn't afford any reckless shots early on.
So who stepped up for Mumbai? Someone had to take charge.
It was a familiar face,
Hmm.
the woman who had already made her mark with the ball,
Okay.
Nat Cyberbrunt.
Of course.
And the moment she arrived at the crease, the energy, it just shifted.
She seems to have that effect on games, you know?
Right.
Brings this aura of confidence and power with her. Everyone else just, like, feeds off of that energy.
It's remarkable.
But before Cyberbrunt's heroics, rewind a little bit, how did Haley Matthews, the opener, fare?
It was a bit of a roller coaster ride. She started shaky, even survived a dropped catch early on.
Oh, no.
Yeah, she was only on 2 runs at that point.
Yeah.
But she's a true champion, weathered the storm and found her rhythm.
So shaky start, but she settled in.
Yeah.
That partnership with Cyberbrunt, I bet that was something special to watch.
Oh, it was a masterclass in batting.
Hmm.
You had Cyberbrunt, the aggressor, just smashing boundaries, and Matthews, anchoring the innings, rotating the strike, keeping the scoreboard ticking.
What was Cyberbrunt's final score?
She finished unbeaten on 75 runs off just 44 balls.
75 runs off 44 balls. Incredible.
Talk about a batting masterclass.
Yeah.
And Haley Matthews, she played a crucial supporting role, scoring 59 runs off 50 deliveries.
So a perfect blend of power and finesse. No wonder Mumbai Indians cruised to victory. What about Deepti Sharma? We haven't heard much about her batting performance.
Unfortunately, she didn't get much of a chance to shine this time. Dismissed early for just 4 runs.
Ah, that's a shame. She's such a talented player. But sometimes the game just doesn't go your way, huh?
It happens. But even in a short innings, there's often a story hidden within the numbers. Interestingly, Deepti's stats against offspin in the WPL, there's a pattern there.
Oh, really? Tell me more. I always find it fascinating how these individual player matchups can influence the game.
Well, in 18 innings, she scored 133 runs off 103 deliveries against off-spin, averaging 22.16 with a strike rate of 129.1. And she's been dismissed 6 times facing that type of bowling.
So off-spin isn't her strongest suit, but it's not a glaring weakness either.
Exactly.
That's another layer of complexity,
It
right?
highlights how these, subtle tactical nuances can play a role in a match.
Yeah.
One bowler might have the edge over a particular batter, and that can just shift the momentum of the entire game.
Speaking of shifting momentum, let's circle back to that dropped catch. Shabnam Ismail dropped Grace Harris when she was on 44. That could have been a game changer.
Oh, it was a real what-if moment.
Yeah.
Harris was in destructive form. Who knows how many more runs she might have scored if she hadn't been dismissed soon after.
Right. It just goes to show that even the smallest moments can have this ripple effect on the entire match.
Absolutely.
Cricket, it's a game of fine margins.
It is. And those small moments can overshadow the bigger picture sometimes. We talked about individual brilliance of Cyber Brunt and Matthews, but what about the contrasting opening stand statistics? That tells a different story.
Break it down for me. What were those contrasting stats?
Well, UPW's opening stands against Mumbai in previous WPL matches, it was a mixed bag, 8-1-8, a surprising 94,
Wow.
and then back down to 11-2-2.
So flashes of brilliance, but not consistent.
Exactly.
They haven't mastered the art of building a solid foundation at the top.
Nope. And then you look at Mumbai's opening stands this season.
Mm-hmm.
A meager 1, then 22, followed by 9, 6, and 5.
So both teams went into this match with a history of vulnerability at the top.
Precisely. Neither team had a clear advantage based on their opening partnerships.
Interesting.
And that's what makes it so intriguing. You had these two teams, each with their own weaknesses, battling it out. But then, of course, Cyber Brunt comes in. All-round brilliance.
Cyber Brunt, 75 runs off 44 balls. I'm curious about the specifics.
Okay.
What kind of shots was she playing? Was it all power hitting? Was there some finesse as well?
It was a blend. She wasn't afraid to clear the ropes,
Mm-hmm.
but she also showed excellent placement and timing, finding gaps in the field, rotating the strike.
So a complete batter then.
It's not just about brute force. It's about tactical awareness, adapting your approach,
Makes her such a dangerous opponent. It's like she's always one step ahead.
like a chess match.
Yeah.
Each move carefully calculated,
Enough.
every shot aimed at exploiting the vulnerabilities.
Her strategic thinking was evident in her partnership with Matthews as well. It wasn't just individual brilliance, it was teamwork, complementing each other's strengths.
Absolutely. Classic display of teamwork, both batters understanding their roles, executing their plans, and that's what makes a winning team. A combination of individual talent and collective strategy.
Speaking of winning teams, this victory for Mumbai Indians definitely cemented their position as one of the frontrunners in the tournament. But what about UP Warriors? Do you think this loss, despite their strong start, will have a lasting impact on their campaign?
It's hard to say for sure, but it definitely exposed some weaknesses in their middle order, and that's something they'll need to address if they want to be serious contenders.
They have the firepower at the top, but haven't figured out how to maintain that momentum. And in a tournament as competitive as the WPL, those middle order hiccups, they can be costly.
Exactly. They need to find a way to solidify that middle order and ensure they can consistently build partnerships, accelerate the scoring rate, even after losing early wickets.
Right. It's not just about starting strong. It's about depth and resilience,
Mhm.
recovering from setbacks,
Yeah.
maintaining momentum. But hey, let's not dwell on the negatives. UPW showed real promise in that power play.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe in their next encounter, they'll figure it out.
Cricket is a game of constant evolution.
Yeah.
Every match is a chance to learn, adapt.
So true. Speaking of exciting developments, this match was played on the same pitch where UP Warriors had successfully defended a total of 178 in a previous game.
Ah, yes. That's a fascinating detail.
It is. So let's talk about the pitch itself, explore its role in this match.
Sounds good. Let's dive into the nuances of that Chinnaswamy pitch, how it might have influenced both teams.
Okay.
So that pitch, it was pitch number 8. And it had already seen its fair share of drama in this WPL. UP Warriors had previously defended a total of 178 on this very same pitch.
Really? So, Chinnaswamy's known for being this high-scoring ground, but it can be a bowler's paradise, too.
It can be. That previous match where UP Warriors defended that 178, it was actually the only instance in the tournament so far where a team had successfully defended a score at Chinnaswamy.
Okay, so this pitch, Kind of a split personality.
Yeah.
High scores one day, tough to chase the next.
Yeah.
So did this unpredictability play a role in how this match unfolded?
It definitely added a layer of complexity.
Okay.
Remember we talked about the lack of dew
Yeah.
in the lead up to the match? Well, on a pitch that can change character as the game progresses, the absence of dew meant that the conditions remained relatively consistent throughout.
So Mumbai probably felt confident chasing, knowing the pitch wouldn't get it any easier or harder for batting.
Yeah,
But what about the ground itself? Chinnaswamy is known for its unique dimensions.
absolutely. Those dimensions definitely played a role in how both teams approach their batting. The square boundaries were 55 and 60 meters, but a hit straight down the ground would have required clearing 68 meters.
Okay, so those shorter square boundaries must have been tempting for the power hitters?
Oh, yeah.
Do we see a lot of players going for, like, the big shots over a square leg or point?
We did, especially in those power play overs.
Yeah.
UPW's batters really targeted those shorter boundaries. High risk, high reward strategy, and it paid off for them early on.
It's like a calculated gamble, right?
Hmm.
You know those boundaries are short.
Right.
So you take your chances, try to maximize your scoring potential,
Yeah.
but it also leaves you vulnerable to those big edges and mistimed shots.
Exactly.
Delicate balance between aggression and calculated risk-taking.
Yeah.
And in T20 cricket, those decisions in the power play can often make or break your innings.
Absolutely.
Speaking of those power play decisions, let's talk about the bowlers.
Okay.
Obviously, Seaver Brunt was the standout performer for Mumbai,
Mm-hmm.
but did anyone else on their bowling attack impress you?
Amelia Kerr had a solid outing. She kept things tight, didn't give away too many runs, picked up a wicket as well.
So she played that crucial supporting role, keeping the pressure on while Seaver Brunt went wicket hunting.
Yeah.
What about Hayley Matthews? Didn't she bowl a few overs as well?
She did. Bowled her full quota of 4 overs, in fact.
Wow.
Took a wicket and kept the runs down.
Solid all-around performance from her.
Yeah. Really solid.
We tend to focus on the big wicket takers, but those consistent economical spells are just as important in controlling the flow of a T20 match.
Couldn't agree more. Every run saved, every dot ball bowled, it all adds up in the end.
Speaking of things adding up, what about the fielding? Were there any moments of brilliance in the field that we should talk about?
Oh, there was one catch that stands out.
Really?
Not just for athleticism, but for its impact on the game.
Okay.
Remember when Deepti Sharma was dismissed for just 4 runs?
Yeah, that was a crucial wicket for Mumbai.
It was Hayley Matthews, who took a stunning one-handed catch at short, fine leg.
A one-handed catch at short, fine leg. You gotta have lightning-fast reflexes for that.
It was brilliant. Sent the dangerous Deepti back to the pavilion.
So not only was she scoring runs, taking wickets, but she was pulling off these incredible catches.
He was everywhere. And that catch, it was a game changer. Not only did it remove a key player from UPW's batting lineup, it gave Mumbai that psychological edge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's those moments of brilliance in the field, those game-changing plays that can really shift the momentum and inject energy into a team.
Absolutely. And it reminds us that fielding is just as important as batting and bowling. A single lapse in concentration, a dropped catch, or a misfield can sometimes be the difference between winning and losing.
Speaking of the finer details, you know what I'm curious about? The coaching strategies.
Okay.
We talked about Mumbai's approach, but what about UP Warriors? What can you tell us about their game plan?
Well, we don't have specific insights into their pre-match discussions or their coaching staff's exact plans,
Okay.
but we can make some educated guesses.
Yeah, let's play detective for a minute.
Okay.
What clues did UPW's performance give us about their coaching strategy?
Their decision to promote Grace Harris to open the innings was a bold move.
Yeah.
And it definitely paid off in the power play. It suggests a willingness to think outside the box, disrupt the opposition's plans.
Right. It was unconventional.
Yeah.
But it worked. It showed that they were willing to take risks and adapt their batting order to exploit potential matchups.
Exactly.
And remember, they had successfully defended 178 on this same pitch in a previous match.
That's right.
So that suggests that their coaching staff has a good understanding of the conditions at Chinnaswamy and how to use them to their advantage.
For sure.
So even though we don't have all the details, we can still piece together some insights into their coaching strategies based on their performance and past results. It's like putting together a puzzle,
Yeah.
finding those missing pieces,
Right.
seeing how they fit into the bigger picture.
It is, and that's what makes analyzing cricket so fascinating. It's not just about the scores and the highlights. It's about understanding the thought process, the strategies, the subtle nuances that shape the game.
Speaking of shaping the game, what about the atmosphere at Chinnaswamy?
Oh, yeah.
Was it a packed house? Did the crowd play a role in the
The
match?
atmosphere was electric. A packed stadium, buzzing with energy. The crowd seemed pretty evenly split between the two teams, cheers erupting for every boundary and every wicket.
I can just imagine the roar of the crowd after those big sixes from Grace
Oh, it
Harris.
was amazing.
There's nothing quite like the energy of a packed stadium in a close-fought match.
It's an experience like no other. Adds another dimension to the game.
Now, back to that 178 that UPW defended on this same pitch. It's bugging me that I can't remember who they played against or any of the key moments of that match.
Don't worry about the specifics of that previous match. What's important is that it tells us something about what constitutes a, quote, defendable total.
Okay, so based on that previous match and everything we've learned about this pitch, what kind of score do you think teams would feel comfortable defending at Chinnaswamy?
Around 170, 180 seems to be a good benchmark.
Okay.
It gives the bowlers enough runs to work with, but it also puts pressure on the chasing team.
Right. It's not just about scoring as many runs as possible.
Right.
It's about setting a target that gives your bowlers a chance to kind of dictate the terms of the game.
Exactly. Finding that strategic balance.
Speaking of balance, you mentioned earlier that 33 wickets had fallen to pacers and 22 to spinners in the 4 matches played on this pitch before this game.
Yeah.
What does that tell us about the pitch's characteristics?
It highlights the balanced nature of this pitch.
Okay.
While it offered some early assistance to the seamers, as we saw with Cyver Brunt's early wicket, the spinners also came into play as the match progressed.
So it's not a one-dimensional pitch that heavily favors either pace or spin. It's a surface that rewards bowlers who can adapt, read the conditions, and execute their skills effectively.
Absolutely. And remember that patch on the pitch?
Oh, right. You said there was a patch on a good length.
Yeah.
Almost on the 4th stump line that bowlers might try to target.
Yeah.
Did we see bowlers trying to exploit that patch in this match?
We did. Both teams' bowlers were aware of that patch.
Okay.
And they tried to use it to their advantage. It created some unpredictable bounce and movement, making it difficult for the batters to settle in.
So it wasn't just about bowling a good line and length. It was about understanding the nuances of the pitch.
Yeah.
And using those subtle variations to create wicket-taking opportunities.
Exactly. And that's what separates the good bowlers from the great ones.
Yeah.
Their ability to read the pitch, assess the batsman's weaknesses, and adjust their strategies accordingly.
Now let's talk about a factor that can sometimes play a huge role in a cricket match. The weather.
Okay.
What was the weather like on the day of this game? Was it a typical Bangalore day, or were there any unusual conditions?
Based on the information we have, there's no mention of any significant weather conditions
Okay.
that might have affected the game.
So we can assume it was a pleasant day for cricket, without any extreme heat or strong winds.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Okay, so a perfect day for cricket then.
Mm-hmm.
No excuses for either team, just pure skill and strategy on display. Which brings me to my next question.
Okay.
How did the commentators do in capturing all the excitement and drama of this match?
From what we've heard, the commentators did a fantastic job.
Good.
They captured the energy and tension,
Okay.
highlighted the key moments, and provided insightful analysis throughout the game.
That's what good commentary is all about. It's not just about narrating the action.
Yeah.
It's about adding context,
Yeah.
explaining the strategies, and bringing the game to life for the viewers.
Absolutely. Good commentators can really enhance the viewing experience.
Yeah.
Make you feel like you're right there in the middle of the action.
Okay, before we move on, let's circle back to something we talked about earlier. Those inconsistent opening stand figures for both Mumbai Indians and UP Warriors.
Right. UPW's opening partnerships against Mumbai had been a bit of a roller coaster,
Yeah.
with scores ranging from a dismal 1 to an impressive 94.
It's like they haven't quite figured out the formula for a consistent start.
Nope.
They've shown flashes of brilliance, but they haven't been able to translate that into a reliable opening partnership.
For sure. And in a tournament as competitive as the WPL, those inconsistent starts can come back to haunt you.
Right.
You need to be able to set a solid platform in those early overs if you want to build a big total.
So it's not just about having explosive batters at the top of the order.
Right.
It's about finding the right combination, the right balance between aggression and caution to maximize your scoring potential without losing early wicket.
Absolutely. Finding that balance is key in T20 cricket.
And speaking of finding the right balance, do you think this loss for UP Warriors, despite their early dominance, will force them to rethink their strategy?
It might. They showed a lot of promise in the power play. But their middle order collapse exposed a vulnerability that other teams will be looking to exploit.
So the pressure's on for them to address that weakness before their next match.
Yeah.
They need to find a way to solidify their middle order and ensure that they can maintain the momentum throughout their innings.
Exactly. It's not just about starting strong, it's about having the depth and the resilience to recover from setbacks and build a competitive total.
Okay, let's shift our focus back to Mumbai Indians for a moment.
Okay.
This win obviously boosted their confidence and put them in a strong position in the tournament.
It was a statement win, for sure. It showed their resilience, their ability to bounce back from a strong start by UPW, and their depth in both batting and bowling.
It's clear that they're a team on a mission determined to make their mark on this WPL season.
Absolutely. And with players like Cyberbrunt and Matthews leading the charge, they're a force to be reckoned with.
Speaking of Cyberbrunt and Matthews, I think it's time we delve deeper into their individual journeys and explore what makes them such exceptional cricketers.
Great idea. Let's take a closer look at their careers and see how they've evolved into the world-class players they are today.
All right, let's rewind back to those power play overs,
Yeah.
where UPW set the stage for what could have been a massive total. 62 runs in the first 6. That's a statement,
It is.
but they also lost a wicket in the first over.
Yeah.
Expert speaker, walk us through those early exchanges.
Okay.
How did those first 6 overs really unfold?
Well, it was a classic display of power hitting
Okay.
and calculated risk-taking.
Yeah.
Mumbai struck early, dismissing Kiran Navgir in the very first over. That could easily put UPW on the back foot,
Yeah.
but Grace Harris had other plans.
Yeah, she came in and just changed the whole complexion of the game. What was it about her innings that really stood out to you?
It was her fearlessness.
Okay.
She wasn't afraid to take on Mumbai's bowlers.
Yeah.
Remember those shorter square boundaries at Chinnaswamy?
Oh, yeah.
Harris targeted them relentlessly, hitting 6 fours and 2 massive 6s in her knock of 45 runs off just 26 balls.
Wow. She was hitting almost 2 runs a ball. That must have been exhilarating to watch.
It was. And that aggressive approach put immense pressure on Mumbai's bowlers.
Yeah.
They had to rethink their strategies and try to contain her onslaught.
I bet the crowd was going wild.
They were. It's moments like that, those explosive power play overs, that really make T20 cricket so exciting.
Absolutely. And UPW's decision to send Harris in at the top, I mean, that was a masterstroke.
It was.
It disrupted Mumbai's plans and allowed them to just dictate the terms of the power play.
Yeah, for sure.
But it wasn't just Harris who contributed to that strong start, right? Vrinda Dinesh played a crucial role in building that 79-run partnership.
Yeah, she did.
How did those two complement each other at the crease?
They were the perfect blend of fire and ice.
Okay.
You had Harris, the aggressor, taking on the bowlers, going for the big shots, and then you had Dinesh playing that anchor role, rotating the strike, picking up singles, keeping the scoreboard ticking over.
It sounds like they had a clear understanding of their roles.
Yeah.
And a game plan that worked beautifully for them in those early overs.
For sure.
But as we know, the game can change in an instant.
Right.
And that's exactly what happened when Harris was dismissed.
Right. That wicket was a turning point. UPW went from a position of strength to a middle-order collapse that ultimately cost them the match.
Yeah.
It was a stark reminder that consistency is crucial in T20 cricket.
It's like they had this incredible burst of energy, but they couldn't quite sustain it.
Yeah.
It's those middle overs where you need to build partnerships and keep the scoreboard moving that often separate the winning teams from the rest.
Absolutely. And that's something UPW will need to address if they want to be serious contenders. They need to find a way to build on those strong starts
Yeah.
and ensure that their middle order can handle the pressure when the going gets tough.
But let's give them credit where it's due.
Yeah.
Their power play performance was exceptional, and it shows that they have the potential to score big runs.
They do.
Maybe in their next encounter, they'll find a way to convert that early dominance into a match-winning total.
It's certainly possible. T20 cricket is full of surprises, and UPW has the talent and the firepower to bounce back.
Speaking of bouncing back, I want to shift gears and talk about kind of like the mental side of the game. We've analyzed the strategies, the performances, the key moments. But what about the pressure, the expectations, the emotions that come into play
That's a good point.
in a high-stakes match like this?
That's an aspect of the game that often gets overlooked.
Right. And I imagine the pressure must have been immense for both teams with a packed stadium
Oh, yeah.
and the top spot in the standings up for grabs.
Absolutely.
So here's a question I want to leave our listeners with.
Okay.
How do you think that pressure, that intensity of a big game, might have affected the players' performance both individually and as a team?
That's a great question. It makes you think about the mental fortitude these players need to possess,
Yeah.
the ability to stay calm and focused under pressure,
Mm-hmm.
and the importance of teamwork and support in those crucial moments.
It's a reminder that cricket is more than just bat and ball.
Yeah.
It's a test of character, resilience, and the ability to perform when the stakes are high.
Well said. And on that note, we'll wrap up our deep dive into this thrilling encounter between Mumbai Indians and UP Warriors.
You hope you enjoyed this journey into the heart of the WPL,
Yeah.
exploring the strategies, the skills, and the human stories that make this game so captivating.
It is.
Until next time, keep analyzing, keep learning,
Yeah.
and keep celebrating the beautiful game of cricket.